Hello everyone, welcome to Multilingual. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some everyday English phrases that will help you sound smarter and more like a native speaker. Let's begin. Our first phrase is, could you clarify that for me, please? Could you clarify that for me, please? This is a great phrase to use when you don't understand something or when you need further explanation. Could you clarify that for me, please? For example, you could say, I'm not quite following what you're saying. Could you clarify that for me, please? Or, could you clarify the instructions for me, please? I'm not sure I understand. Could you clarify that for me, please? I really like this phrase, but I also like the second phrase that I'm going to offer you today is, I'm of the opinion that. This is a great phrase to use when you want to express your opinion or point of view. For example, you could say, I'm of the opinion that we should focus on improving our customer service. Or, I'm of the opinion that the new policy is a step in the right direction. So you could say, I think, but a better phrase would be, I'm of the opinion that. Use it and you will sound smarter. Our third phrase is, that being said. That being said. This is a great phrase to use when you want to introduce a contrasting or qualifying statement. For example, you could say, I think we should hire more staff to handle the workload. That being said, we also need to make sure we have the budget for it. Or this phrase, I really enjoyed the movie. That being said, I thought the ending was a bit predictable. That being said. So you are adding some information based on contrast. The first phrase is, as far as I'm aware. This is a great phrase to use when you are uncertain or not entirely confident in your knowledge of a particular topic. As far as I'm aware. For example, you could say, as far as I'm aware, the deadline for the project is next week. So you see, you are not quite sure, but you say, as far as I'm aware. As far as I'm aware, the company is still deciding on whether to implement the new policy. As far as I'm aware will make you sound a lot more like a native speaker. The fifth phrase is, it's worth bearing in mind that. This is a great phrase to use when you want to draw attention to a particular detail or aspect of a situation that may have been overlooked. For example, you could say, it's worth bearing in mind that the project will require additional resources. It's worth bearing in mind that. Or this one, it's worth bearing in mind that the product may not be suitable for all customers. It's worth bearing in mind. It's worth bearing in mind that. Great phrase, isn't it? Let's go to the next one. The phrase number 6 is, if I'm not mistaken. You might have heard this phrase a lot of times already. It's a great phrase to use when you are uncertain or not entirely confident in your memory or knowledge of a particular topic. For example, you could say, if I'm not mistaken, the event is next month. Or, if I'm not mistaken, the policy was changed last year. So this is similar to the phrase we've used before, as far as I'm aware. As far as I'm aware, or if I'm not mistaken, the policy was changed last year. The phrase number 7 is to be perfectly honest. Why to say perfectly? You use this phrase when you want to indicate that you are about to be completely honest or upfront in your assessment of a situation. To be perfectly honest. For example, to be perfectly honest, I don't think the project is feasible with our current resources. Or, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm the right person for the job. To be perfectly honest. The phrase number 8 is almost like an idiom. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. This is a great phrase to use when you want to describe a situation or decision that has both positive and negative aspects. For example, you could say, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, the new policy will reduce costs. On the other hand, it may also lead to a decrease in customer satisfaction. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. Pay attention to the pronunciation of the word sword. The W is not pronounced. And one more phrase, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. While the project will provide valuable experience, it may also require a lot of time and effort. So the phrase number 8, once again, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. The phrase number 9 is great for negotiations. Let's agree to disagree. Please use this phrase when you want to politely end a discussion or debate in which the parties involved have opposing views. For example, you could say, let's agree to disagree. I respect your opinion, but I still think we should pursue a different approach. Let's agree to disagree. Or, let's agree to disagree. We have different perspectives on the issue, and that's okay. Let's agree to disagree. So you kind of disagree with each other, but you agree that you disagree. And the phrase number 10, and the last one today, at the end of the day. You might have heard this a lot as well, because it's widely used. At the end of the day. It's a great phrase to use when you want to provide a summary or conclusion to a discussion or debate. For example, you could say, at the end of the day, we need to focus on what's best for the company, right? Or, at the end of the day, the decision is up to the board of directors. At the end of the day. So I really hope that you found these phrases helpful. Let me know in the comments which ones you'll be using in your everyday conversations. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, leave this video a like if you liked it, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye guys!